Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tuesday Night Special. And now it's time for us to talk about what happened during the second half of Monday Night Raw from the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. And the next match to take place on Monday Night Raw would see none other than Peyton Royce going one-on-one against Liv Morgan. Now, prior to this match beginning, once again, the Iconics will once again rain on a parade of a potential Riot Squad reunion by saying this: will they get back together? Will they won't get back together? Love-hate relationship, no one cares. But all they do care about is the relationship that's absolutely iconic. And during this match, Peyton Royce would definitely prove how iconic she is by not only hitting a nasty spin kick, sort of reminding me of Layla back in the day for a near fall, and would even get taken down by Liv Morgan with a single leg takedown and repeated shots to the face. And you would also see Liv Morgan pulling off a nasty mule kick in the corner, but unfortunately before she could get any form of offense, Billie Kay would try to get up on the apron, only for Ruby Riott to get on the apron in tow for the referee to pay attention to Ruby, and for Liv Morgan to say, "Why are you on the apron?" and take her eye off the ball 1 too many seconds on Peyton Royce, and would pay for it with a Polish hammer to the spine, and then that spinning neck breaker brain buster that she calls the deja vu for her to win this match via pinfall. And her, meaning Peyton Royce, and after the match was over, you would see Ruby Riott in the ring trying to console her friend and tell her that I didn't mean to get involved, I was just trying to stop her from trying to interfere in this match. Only for a little bit of miscommunication to once again plague the life of the Riot Squad. And the next thing to take place on Monday Night Raw would be another edition of Raw Underground. And during this Raw Underground exhibition match, we would see none other than Riddick Moss fighting someone else from the Underground for him to get the upper hand once the action got outside of the ring, for him to slam his opponent directly into this steel siding that was on the outside of the ring for Raw Underground. For Riddick Moss to get back inside of the ring, try to gouge the eye out of his opponent and beat the daylights out of him, for Shane McMahon to have no choice but to ring the bell, and for Riddick Moss to let out a primal scream and say, "Can you see me now?" for him to win this Raw Underground exhibition match, and to once again find himself in the spotlight of Raw Underground. You know, a different spotlight than what he was used to being alongside with Mojo Rawley, which, to be honest, this is a better move for him. And the next thing to take place on Monday Night Raw would see none other than the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, facing off against Bayley for a chance to fight for the Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam. And during this match, Asuka was a woman on a mission and did everything in her power to try to make Bayley suffer, including not only doing a hip attack, a code breaker, and even pulling off a nasty drop kick on the ground to try to take out Bayley, and would even slam her head into the ground when she got a near fall. Only for Bayley to come back during this match with not only a makeshift version of a Dominator or inverted power slam for a near fall, and would even try to pick apart the leg of the Empress of Tomorrow with help from Sasha Banks. But unfortunately for Bayley, she would let her ego get a little bit too big during this match and would showboat during this match, which, like my sister would tell me all the time, showboating will get you hurt and will cost you a loss during anything that you do. And it would be proven here, because once Bayley got Asuka on the ground after that sunset flip bomb into the corner and would try to walk the plank like Kairi Sane, she would end up getting caught in a modified armbar directly into the Asuka lock for Asuka to win this match and for her to go on to fight Sasha Banks at SummerSlam for this year via submission. And how many times do I gotta tell you guys and gals out there about showboating? How many times I gotta tell you about showboating? See, my sister words lives on in this show, no matter how many times we do reviews for anybody who showboats. And outside of that, folks, we would go once again back into the world of Raw Underground to see the debut of none other than Arturo Rusev, who was featured on Raw Underground, who was originally slated to debut a part of NXT, but apparently Raw Underground in this Fight Club environment was perfect for Arturo Rusev, who would not only try to take out his opponent with a nasty set of capoeira kicks that would miss, but then would slam his opponent to the ground, try to beat the daylights out of him, allowing him to get up, and then would finally be able to hit with his fourth capoeira kick to the side of the head of this kid, and then would punch him in the side of the head for the referees to say, "Oh, he's out, it's over, ladies and gentlemen, Arturo Rusev." Which for some strange reason, since Xavier Woods mentioned the whole thing about this being a live-action version of Def Jam Fight for New York, he reminds me of a real-life version of Ari. You know, the guy with a whole bunch of eyes in his name that you had to fight alongside with another character that I think was called Chemo? It was some guy who looked like somebody from Ready to Rumble who was Kimu Claw. You know, go look up the character, folks. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. But outside of all that, folks, we will once again head to Raw Underground after a quick recap of what the group Retribution would be up to, which would be absolute mayhem, and it would show tonight because not only they would throw a cinder block through the door of the Performance Center, but last week on Friday Night SmackDown, they would come back to the ring with baseball bats and pipes and everything they could possibly grab, clear out the ring, beat up the fans who were also wrestlers, and even take a chainsaw, where the hell did they get a chainsaw from, and cut up the ropes on SmackDown, actually spray painting the apron off of SmackDown, and even writing a W with a cross on it, most likely meaning no wrestling. So yeah, these group of renegades are looking to try to shut down Raw and SmackDown and wrestling all together with their Project Mayhem status. And with that quick recap of what happened with Retribution on SmackDown, speaking of SmackDowns, folks, we would once again see Baba Kato in action in Raw Underground, who he would fight an opponent who tried to go after his legs, only for him to get lifted up in the air, slammed across from the east to the west with a nasty belly-to-belly suplex, and then would see him grabbing the junk of this guy for Shane McMahon to say, oh, but it's legal, and then for Baba Kato to clobber him in the side of the head, reminding me of something out of Mortal Kombat, for Baba Kato to win this match in a very unique way, I should say, and for Shayna Baszler to head toward the ring for Raw Underground. There's no easy way to segue from that. He pulled the move from the movie Porky's and tried to rip his junk off. Are you serious? Come on, man. But besides all that, folks, Shayna Baszler would take her own piece of flesh during this match by attacking one of the people who I think was a dancer last week on Raw Underground by punching her in the throat, bringing her inside the ring, trying to beat the daylights out of her on the ground, only for another girl to try to come into the ring and stop it, for her to get taken out, and then for all three, because another girl jumped in too, to try to take out Shayna Baszler, for even the numbers game to be inferior to the Queen of Spades. Because then you would see one get taken down with a double leg takedown, another one getting roundhoused in the head, and the last one getting put in the Karafuda clutch for the referee to call this match over and for Shayna Baszler to win her Raw Underground debut against 3 other opponents who didn't want to fight her in the first place, and one who wasn't even wearing shoes. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, man? And oh, thank you for reminding me, right, Stro? Immediately after what happened with Shayna Baszler, we would once again see Retribution at it again, actually flipping over a car outside and celebrating their next step, a part of Project Mayhem. And why do I got a feeling this is Shane McMahon's revenge after he would get fired and embarrassed on SmackDown almost a year ago for him to just try to get his revenge by trying to take out Monday Night Raw and SmackDown at the same time. Wouldn't surprise me. And after that little bit of mayhem, we would see the main event of the evening, which would see Randy Orton going one-on-one against the Frankenstein monster himself, Kevin Owens. And during this match, Kevin Owens would try to bring his Frankenstein A-game by not only doing not 1 but 2 cannonballs, one inside of the ring, one on the outside of the ring against the barricade to try to take out the Viper, and would even try to do his swanton bomb from the top rope, still nothing doing to Randy Orton. Because Randy Orton would come back during this match with not only a backdrop suplex on the announce table, but would also be able to counter the Frankenstein stunner, leading right directly into an RKO from out of nowhere, like so many people would say, for Randy Orton to win this match via pinfall. And after the match was over, Randy Orton would then call out Ric Flair, saying that you wanted to be in my spotlight. I never liked you, I never respected you, and you're just trying to be the same old Ric Flair, but you're washed up and you're not the same Ric Flair you used to be. Only for Ric Flair to pick up the microphone and just give an emotional speech telling about the time he was in a coma and that he wanted to just come back and say I love you to the people that he never got a chance to, and he just wanted to be alongside with one of the people he had the utmost respect for, of Randy Orton. And he even wanted him to beat his record, his real record for World Championship reigns, and wanted to be there to see it. Only for Randy Orton to throw the microphone out of the hands of Ric Flair, hug him, drop one tear out of his eye, to quote the Nature Boy when he won the World Heavyweight Championship during the Royal Rumble, only to then drop Ric Flair with a low blow, and immediately afterwards would whisper in his ear, "Thank you for everything that you've done, thank you for what you've done, but I have to do this," and then would go back, the lights would cut off, turn right back on, and like a horror movie that would turn the switch of Randy Orton straight to Legend Killer mode, and punt the head right off of Ric Flair, for him to just hold on to the hand of Ric Flair and saying it's all over now, from what I could hear when he was whispering, only for Drew McIntyre to run down to the ring after the deed was done, call him a son of a bitch, and then say, even Ric Flair, you evil son of a bitch, and then would proceed to try to call out Randy Orton for an immense stare down to end Monday Night Raw for this week. And by the way, folks, after the lights and cameras went out, then you would see medical staff finally showing up and security, where I was wondering, where the hell was security at when all this crap was going on? When he got his head kicked in, where was security? And my answer, according to the maestro, is that they were dealing with Retribution, but with the same fact that Retribution just called off one of the security guards telling him to go home after they threw that cinder block through the window. The security is a joke, absolute joke there at the Performance Center, and it was proven tonight with all that happened over this week's edition of Monday Night Raw. But that's just my opinion. And I guess with that said, folks, we might as well head back into the music, and when we return, we'll be back with more of the Tuesday Night Special right after this. So don't fall asleep just yet, folks, and stay tuned.